Welcome to the technique of the month, August 2010. Okay, I'm going to have Scott Kingsall lay on his backside. And we're going to be talking today about how we get to the high mount position. Now the high mount position is really where you want to end up. Okay, you won't initially end up there though. You'll start off in the low mount position. Let me show that one to you. If I'm here on Scott's chest and I'm sideways to him, okay, from this position, when you make the transition, you step over him, you roll and you move here, you'll end up low on his hips. And when we say low on his hips, I'm going to have him rotate over here. You'll see that I have my hips thrusted down into his hips and my feet point up. So what happens is because my feet are going together, my hips are going down, it's causing really tight hip contact, real tight hip pressure. Okay? So what happens is when he goes to lift up his hips, I can kind of shift. If he bridges this way, I put weight on his right hip. If he bridges the other way, I put weight on that left hip. Now besides the hip shifting and this tightness here at my feet, notice my feet are just pancaking together, I want to use a good post. Now I have two posts right now, but I like to have one post and one hand around his neck. By keeping his head up off the mat, it makes it very difficult for him to get his head back down from the bridge. When he goes to bridge, I keep up his head, and I can even go up here and get a double grip. Okay, now, low is pretty good, low mount. But what if you wanted to go for an arm bar, or you're trying to punch him? The problem is, if you start to sit up and you're low, he bridges up high, my weight is displaced and I rock forward. So being low is not a great place to be when you're trying to submit him. You want to move high up on his chest. So watch what we're going to do. I'm going to scoot back here just a little bit. Okay? Now he grabbed me around my waist. How do I get from low to high? Here's the secret. Hands on top of the head. Put your hands on top of his head, push, and scoot your waist up into his face. Okay? Again, he holds on, I push. He holds on, I push. Now my knees go up into his armpits, and I post. Now look what happens. Because I'm high up on his chest, when he bridges, my weight isn't affected nearly as much now as it was when I was low on his hips. But we still have one problem. His head. His head is still locked in. It's hard for me to punch him in the face. I can't even lock him on when his head is up like this. So how do I get his head down? The elbow. The elbow is the key. Bring your elbow around, bug his neck, and push his face down to the ground. Cross face. Okay? Watch here on the other side. Now normally what I'll do, if he's looking this way, I like to take it the same way that they're facing. So he kind of eats an elbow in the face at the same time. Elbow comes around, bug his neck. So look the other way. Now he looks to his right side. There he puts his head up. Okay? I bring the elbow this way, make him look away, and bug the neck. And you'll be surprised, you'll be able to get most guys to separate. Okay? Now, let's review. You get around the waist, hands go on top of the head, push yourself up high, knees go up, post, his head's up, real tight. Bring your elbow around, bug that neck. Now you can set him up for punching to the jaw, elbow across his eyebrow, his eye socket, all kinds of follow-up techniques. Okay? Now, I think we should show them how to do an arm lock. I think the audience may like that. Okay, let's say that he grabs around my waist. He says his arm's kind of bent like this. Now push his head back. Here's a lock you don't see very often. I'm going to trap his elbow palm up. By trapping palm up, it's harder for him to move out his arm. Why? If my palm is down, he just moves his arm around. Okay? Now, my palm is up, move your arm around. See how it locks it in place a lot better? Because my elbow is trapping, my forearm is trapping up his elbow. And my elbow is squeezing into my rib cage. Now his arm is bent around my waist 90 degrees. All I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to a high kneel. I'm going to post over top of his head. I'm going to step over his face. And now watch. See how the arm is bent 90? Bring your knee in, twist your body this direction, and my body actually moves his arm. What are we doing? It's like a kimura lock, isn't it? It's this kind of lock. It's like an omoplata, okay? in the Portuguese. Basically, you're doing a shoulder lock, but it's around the waist. And you're vertical. Most of you have probably seen an omoplata like this. You're like this here, and you've stepped around this way. You have the arm here. You've locked in place. You've gone here, here. You pushed them down. You've trapped up the shoulder, and you've locked this way. Okay? This is slightly different. We're just we're in the mount position instead of on inside the guard. Okay. Last time. Let's watch again. We'll scoot back a little bit. Okay, so he grabs a hold, hand around their waist, hand on top of the head, scoot, knees up. He keeps up his head. You post. Got to get his head down. Elbow goes here. Trap that elbow. Bring up your knee. Post over their head, 45 degrees. Keep this arm bent, 90. Step over the face. Squeeze the knee. Let your body twist. And shoulder lock. And of course, if you ever lost your balance, you're still in good position. 4 straight arm bar. Okay. Just got to go back to Seiza. Very good. So again, if you're low mount position, you don't want to stay there. It's hard for you to work on submissions or to punch them. You want to get to high mount. You get to high mount by putting your hand on top of the head, scooting yourself up. Once you get high, they're going to keep their head into your belly. Use the cross face. Use the elbow to cause the separation. And then look to see what happens. Maybe this is going to be an elbow, a punching submission. It might be he lets go and grabs your body in some way. You can go for armbar. Or it could be a situation ends up where we just demonstrated, where he keeps his arms around your waist. In which case, you just trap the elbow, you step over, and you lock. Okay? Any questions? Okay. We'll catch you guys next month. Domo.